The attorneys who struggle most with confidence are not the inexperienced ones fumbling through their first depositions. They're actually the accomplished professionals, the experienced ones, the managing partners, the senior litigators, the attorneys with impressive track records, who still wake up at 3 a.m. questioning whether they're good enough. These same lawyers are sitting on the most powerful confidence-building tool available to them, and so many have no idea it's there. Welcome to the Free Lawyer Podcast. I'm your host, Gary Miles. Welcome to the Free Lawyer Podcast. I'm Gary Miles. I started this podcast to help that successful lawyer who feels unfulfilled and unhappy and stuck. And today we're going to explore why your best client relationships are not just good for business. They're the foundation of unshakable professional confidence. You know, early in my career, I thought confidence came from winning big cases, impressing judges, maybe getting that partnership position. But over 4 decades of practice, I've learned something completely different. My strongest moments of professional certainty did not come from courtroom victories. They came from those quiet conversations in my office, where I genuinely helped someone understand their situation. They felt heard, and I proposed some solution to the crisis that was bothering them. Today I'm going to show you how to transform your client relationships from mere business transactions into confidence catalysts. Because here's what I've learned. When you get this right, everything else, case outcomes, referrals, professional satisfaction, fulfillment, joy, naturally follows. Over my 46 years practicing law as a federal court trial attorney, managing partner for 30 plus years, and now as a coach to accomplished attorneys, I've learned that the lawyers who are most genuinely confident are not necessarily the ones with the highest profile cases. They're the ones who've learned to find deep satisfaction in the daily work of truly serving their clients well. That's what I help attorneys discover through my free lawyer framework, how to optimize their success for maximum impact without sacrificing personal fulfillment. And today we're going to dive into how your client relationships, how you build them, how you nurture them, can actually become one of your greatest confidence builders, as well as one of the greatest sources of fulfillment in your practice. The first client meeting is the key to building that relationship and getting it started. It's truly an opportunity to reinforce your professional competence. You can show that client who you've just met how experienced you are, how knowledgeable you are. But in addition, you can show them that you listen, that you've heard them, that you care, and that you want to serve them. And that first client meeting is the first step to building that internal confidence inside yourself, along with external credibility with your client. And one of the keys is to thoroughly prepare for your first meeting. Read all the notes. If the case has been docketed, check it out and see what's alleged. Find out what your client's concerns are from the information he shared with you. And your preparing for that first meeting will help to build your confidence as much as building trust with your client. See, when you're more prepared, it develops this loop, this circle of positive feedback. When you're prepared, you give a more informed, a more confident presentation to your client. It creates an interaction where your client feels heard and understood and has trust that you have an answer to the problems they face. And that successful interaction reinforces your confidence. And that, at the same time, improves your presentation. It's a circle of success. And part of it is being able to explain those complex legal concepts simply. That helps your client to know and trust you, but more than that, You prove your knowledge to yourself. You don't have to use big fancy legal terms. You can explain what's going on in the matter in clearly understood terms. I like to say I use the grandmother test. Could my grandmother understand what I'm explaining? And if so, I've explained it well. But more than being prepared and explaining those concepts, the other key is showing empathy to your client, building a real human connection. When our clients come to us, they're scared, they're anxious, they're worried about finances, worried about losing something that's important to them, worried about what their future's going to look like. And when you can listen empathetically, you demonstrate genuine care for your client and for the outcomes of their matter. You show that you are concerned for them, but you also show that you have a possible solution or a possible remedy or a way to manage it. And besides building a connection with your client, what that does for you is strengthen your sense of purpose. And after that initial meeting, your ongoing relationship with each client helps you to build your professional worth every day. One of the key things I think is sending regular client updates to your clients. Some lawyers don't do that. One of the most common complaints I have when prospective clients would call me because they're dissatisfied with the lawyers that they didn't know what was going on in their case and the lawyer didn't tell them. I find it's good to have a system to send regular scheduled client updates. If you bill the file monthly, that might be a good time. You have to review the file to prepare the bill. Send it with an update that's informative and maybe positive and encouraging. And that builds a connection with your client, but also creates evidence of your own competence. And the key is to move from being merely a provider of legal services to a trusted advisor and guide to your clients. And that's the shift that really changes everything. Every time you solve a problem for your client, and they always have a problem, that's why they come to us. We are firefighters. Sometimes I hear lawyers say, "Oh, I felt like I was putting out fires all day." Well, exactly right. That's what we do. We put out our clients' fires. We solve their problems. We resolve their issues. And what that does is build our confidence, because every challenge we address becomes proof of our capability, of our experience, of our talent. But not only our talent and skill, but our dedication to serving our clients. And you know what happens then? Your satisfied client comes back to you with their next matter. And I've had some clients who were with me literally my whole career. And that repeat business matters financially, of course. We get another file, we get some more fees, we get some more revenue. But what matters even more than that is what it says about us. How our clients feel about us. That we're good, that they trust us, that they rely on us. And that helps to validate your confidence, your abilities, your competence, your skill. And when that client brings their next matter to you, not only are you happy to get the case, but you feel good about yourself because you know you've served them well enough that they want to come back to work with you some more. And that long-term loyalty means so much for you about your confidence. It's a tough field. We win some and lose some. And one of the biggest struggles lawyers have is their confidence. But when you reflect on your clients and how much they depend on you and rely on you, and that they come back for more service for their next file, for their next problem, that says so much about who you are as a lawyer, how good you are, how dedicated, how you serve that client well, and how much they appreciate it. It means so much when your clients stay with you for decades. But sometimes things get difficult, don't they? Your client's upset about something. Something goes wrong in the case. The other attorney picks out a flaw. Some apparently devastating motion is filed. Maybe we lost a hearing. And I found that those conversations that we dread the most, the ones where something went wrong, might have been our mistake, but so often it's not. It's just one of those circumstances. And it often teaches us the most about our professional strength and our resilience. that we don't capitulate, we don't fall apart, we don't crumble. We recharge, we step back, we reflect, and we come up with a possible solution. And one thing I found is really helpful is spotting problems early. If we can identify those issues early before they become big issues, it really will validate your professional judgment and make your client feel more comfortable. One of my mentors was Dick Lurch, and one of his real skills was connecting with people. And he handled setbacks with so much confidence, with so much resilience, with so much courage. And he could talk to a client when something went wrong in a way that lifted their spirits. It didn't discourage them, but it uplifted them. It made them feel better. And his clients always valued and appreciated him. The other suggestion I have is, instead of being someone who takes orders from our client, which is, I know how so many lawyers feel, our clients tell us to do this, and then we go do it, then they tell us to do something else, then we do that too. But instead, work towards a collaboration with your client. Build a relationship where you are partners in trying to find solutions to the circumstances that they face. Work collaboratively with them to make decisions together. And when you do those things, even when things go wrong, sometimes your client will still appreciate you. In fact, most of the time. I handled a very difficult employment law case in federal court. I took a lot of depositions. My client was deposed. There was extensive motion for summary judgment filed. I thought I wrote a great brief in opposition. And the judge granted summary judgment against us. I was crushed. I actually later learned that judge granted summary judgment on every case he ever had in the employment law arena. But what happened was my client called me and thanked me. She had lost the case. Her goal was not satisfied. She was defeated. But she called me to thank me. She admired the work I did, the dedication. And it's pretty easy when you hit a grand slam for your client to say thank you. But when you lose a case, when things go wrong, when summary judgment is granted against your client and your client calls you to say how much they appreciate you, there truly is nothing more uplifting, no greater confidence builder than that. If what I'm sharing today resonates with you, if you see that your client relationships can be the key to the confidence you've been seeking, I would love to talk with you personally. You can go to GaryMiles.net and schedule a courtesy coaching call, or you can click on the link in the show notes and schedule it. Let's explore how to transform your practice from the inside out. Now let's talk about communication. One of the keys to communication is not just client service, but it's self-validation. When Dick Lurch is another thing he could do so well. He could explain the most complex legal concepts, explain the dangers and risks of the case to clients in ways that made them feel both informed and at ease. They were comfortable with what he had to say. And that's not only great client service, but that can make you feel confident in yourself and what you do. And when you structure your information well that you present to your client, you prove your own understanding. And one of the important things is to have the right tone of voice when you speak to your client. Understanding that they're at stress. And part of what we're trying to do is relax them, make them feel secure and heard and understood and comfortable. And I love when I would talk to a client and they would nod in understanding. They would thank me. They would give me feedback that shows that they listened and understood. And to see them walk out feeling better instead of so stressed validated my effectiveness and helped me to feel more secure as a lawyer. And I strongly believed in documenting my meetings with the clients, sending them follow-up letters or memos or emails that confirm what we talked about and what our plan was. And one of the beautiful things is when that relationship with our client becomes a long-term one. And part of what we need to do is to maintain and nurture that long-term relationship. That becomes our professional legacy. I prided myself on serving my clients excellently, and I know you do as well. And that really is self-respect. To give consistent quality to all of our clients, regardless of the size of their case. And I remember when clients would send me holiday cards, or in a difficult family law case, they'd send me a handwritten thank you note. I put them on my desk drawer and saved them forever. Because in many ways, those thank you notes from a client I had served and served well meant more to me than the money I made off a big verdict. It truly was a confidence builder. And the other big confidence builder is referrals. When your satisfied client sends to you their brother or their neighbor or their best friend, when they trust you with people they love, when those people have problems and issues and difficulties, that says so much about you and who you are and how you serve them, and validates your ability and dedication as a lawyer to those clients. And those positive interactions, those thank yous, those cards, those referrals, the repeat business, they accumulate to help you build that truly unshakable confidence. And I call this podcast The Free Lawyer, and people often ask me why, and I explain it's because it's all about building freedom as a lawyer, true personal freedom. And when you no longer question your fundamental worth, when you see you're a good lawyer, when you accept that you're able to serve your clients well, when you feel confident in your ability to interact with them and find solutions, that's when you help to become a truly free lawyer. It gives you authentic confidence. And so often our confidence rests on successes in cases. And trust me, I've won some I lost, should have lost. I lost some I should have won. And that's not sustainable. But your relationships with your clients give you evidence of how good you are as a lawyer. It gives you evidence-based confidence. It builds a sustainable confidence that lasts because you're talking to clients literally every day. And then not only that, but your daily work reflects your values. We became lawyers to be of service, to help our clients. And when you provide that service well and your client is satisfied, you're in alignment with your professional identity as a problem solver for your clients. And this is another win-win. This is another career satisfaction loop. Those strong relationships with your clients give you confidence. That confidence helps you perform better as a lawyer. And that gives you even stronger relationships with your clients, which further builds your clients and further confidence and further improves your performance, and it builds and builds and builds. See, 40 years have taught me that confidence does not come from the honors or the awards or from the verdicts. It truly comes from the knowledge that you've genuinely helped people. When I look back over 46 years in this profession, through the challenging cases, the unexpected setbacks, even those moments when I questioned whether I belonged here. It wasn't my academic honors that sustained me. It wasn't the impressive verdicts. It wasn't the partnership position. It was the knowledge that I had genuinely helped people, that clients trusted me with their most important concerns, that I had built something meaningful through authentic professional relationships. So tomorrow morning, when you walk into your office, you're going to face a choice with every client interaction, every email, every call, every meeting. You can approach it as just another task to complete. It's just another billable hour to record. Or you can see it as an opportunity to strengthen both your client's situation and your professional foundation. When you genuinely invest in your client relationships, when you listen carefully, communicate clearly, and genuinely care about their outcomes, you're not just building a successful practice. You're building unshakable professional confidence that no courtroom loss, no difficult opposing counsel can undermine. The attorneys I've coached who make the shift report something remarkable. They stop performing being a confident lawyer and they actually start being one. Their clients sense their authenticity. Their colleagues respect their genuine confidence. And most importantly, they begin to truly enjoy practicing law again. Your client relationships are so much more than simply business transactions. They're the living proof of your professional worth. They're the daily evidence of your competence, the foundation of whatever legacy you'll leave in this profession. The question is not whether you're capable of developing this kind of confidence. You absolutely are. The question is whether you're ready to invest in the one professional development strategy that will serve you for the rest of your career. Your clients are waiting. Your practice is waiting. It's ready. And your most confident professional self is just one authentic conversation away. If you're ready to transform your practice from the inside out, to build the kind of confidence that comes from meaningful client relationships rather than external validation, I want to help you. Visit GaryMiles.net and schedule a courtesy coaching call. Let's talk about how the Free Lawyer Framework can help you practice law with purpose and live life with freedom. Until next time, this is Gary Miles reminding you, your best relationships are not just your greatest professional asset. They are the foundation of the confident, fulfilling legal career that you deserve. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you, and as always, please be well, be safe, and be free.